Hello.
Okay, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
We've got a nice crowd here today. I'm Shelley Goldberg. I'm the president of the Computer Club. And today we're going to be having kind of a double feature. So we're going to be doing our annual holiday tech gift guide. And we'll be talking about a bunch of different things. And then we've got our own Ken Cozy, who is going to talk about and actually demo a retrieval from space. So I think you'll be excited to hear about that. And you may be seeing a few of the signs on some of the tables in the front. So after our main presentation, we'll take some questions and things like that. But don't go running off, because we're going to have a kind of a 3 or 4 or 5 ring circus after that. So over in that corner, Ken is going to be demoing his space technology stuff, and he has some samples there. Any of you interested in 3D printing, he actually has a 3D printed model of the spacecraft. So that's kind of exciting. Okay. Not too good. Okay. And in this corner over here, Frank is going to be demoing a streaming device that he will be talking about. So if you're interested in that, you can head over to that table. We also have a table. We had a few people that were interested in AI, and they had last month a nice discussion going. So anyone who's interested in AI, we've got a table set up for AI. We've got one set up for social media. You're not obligated to talk, or you can just come, listen, watch the demos in that corner or in this corner. So don't just leave. We will have quite a few things going on. Okay, so at this point, yeah, please silence your cell phones. Let's see, in honor of Veterans Day, we've got Veterans Day this month. Can we have all the veterans stand up? And since we have a Veterans holiday this week, why don't we do the Pledge of Allegiance?
The flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, then as usual, getting on to our agenda. We'll be doing as we always do. We have a financial report. We talk a little bit about membership, computer club matters, our class schedule. Community matters, and then we'll be getting on to our double feature presentation. Okay, and this is our treasurer's report. Hasn't changed too much, so we do have donations for the Grafton Food Pantry, so everything that you put into the jars around the room here for your coffee and donuts, that all gets donated to the Grafton Food Pantry. We do have a reserve fund, which we use for any purchases, large purchases. We did buy a new Apple Mac computer, and next year when Windows 12 comes out, we'll be replacing a lot of the computers in our computer lab. And one order of business that we need to do today is we do have a revised budget, so we need to formally approve it. We have the major item, as I mentioned, is the Apple computer, which was $2,664. We did purchase 2 lab computers for $900 each and 2 monitors, and or this is rather in the budget for 2 laptops at $900 each. So,
Mr. President, I'd like to put a motion forward to approve this budget.
okay, and do we have a second from Bill Snow? All in favor of approving the revised budget? Opposed? Okay, then the budget is approved. Yeah, and we will be spending a lot of it next year. Okay, our membership, we've got close to 1,600 people as members of the computer club. We're the largest club, so keep on doing what you're doing. We probably all have experienced that sometime. And we've got 2 subgroups right now. The Apple Users Group, which meets on the first Tuesday of each month at 9 o'clock in the lab. And we also have our photography group. So any of you who are interested in photography, just show up on the first Wednesday of each month at 7 o'clock. It's in the evening. And we have some interesting discussions. We review people's photos that they've taken over the prior month. So that's an interesting subgroup. And there will be a meeting in December for that as well. Our computer labs that will open on Mondays and Thursdays in the morning from 9 o'clock to noon. And if there's time, which I think there should be still some time, even with our little circus going on afterward, the lab will be open after the meeting. Also in our computer lab, we do hold all of our computer club classes. Here's the schedule, the remaining schedule for the month of November. So the first 2 classes you've already missed. We did a class on using YouTube for streaming. We did a class on Android phone, although we do have a lot of Android phone classes going on, thanks to Steve Klein over here, throughout the year. We will have on Thursday, November 16th, in the evening, there'll be a class on how to prepare your tax information, not how to do your taxes, but how to prepare your information, so you'll be ready when you're ready to do your taxes or to have someone else do your taxes, to have all your information ready in one place. On Monday, November 20th, we'll have a class on eBay. That's always a popular class. And then we have one Zoom class, one virtual class this month, which will be on the 14th in the evening, and it'll be a class on mail merge. So if you're planning on sending out holiday greetings or holiday cards, and need to do a mail merge, this would be a perfect class to tune into. And this is virtual, so you can watch this one from your home. And I will mention, we take a little breather in the month of December, so there are no classes scheduled for December, but we will be resuming our class schedule in January. So just watch for the e-blasts and newsletters. And as far as what's going on in the community, Well, we've got the Sound of Music that the theater group is doing. That's on November 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th. They'll be doing it that whole weekend. There's a Buddy Holly concert going on November 27th, which you might want to come to. And then there's a tribute band that does the Blues Brothers. So that's why it's spelled B-L-O-O-Z-E instead of B-L-U-E-S. That's on December the 4th. So, and check your Lifestyles and E-Blast. There's all sorts of other stuff going on, especially around the holidays. There's all kinds of different parties and concerts and dances and karaoke and all kinds of stuff. And as I mentioned previously, after we do the presentations here, don't go running out because we will have the breakout sessions, and these will be like demos. So we'll have demos on streaming. We'll have a demo over in the corner there. You may see all the displays set out, and Ken Cozy will be doing that. And those of you who want to talk about AI, there's an AI table, a social media table, and we've got one that's designated other. I think it's the one in the center there. And anything else you guys want to talk about, come to that table. So, we'll do that. Okay, getting on to our double feature presentation. The first thing we're going to be talking about are holiday tech gifts. And I will be doing that along with Frank, and then Ken Cozy will be doing the second half of the program on retrieval from space. All right, I'm going to try to talk about some unique gifts and some other things that might interest people that might want to give as a gift this holiday. And of course, there's always the laptop computers and tablets and phones and that kind of stuff, all the peripherals that go along with it. And if you need help with any of those in selecting gifts, just come to the computer lab, and you'll always find someone there who will be happy to talk to you about how to select one of those type gifts. The first one I'm going to talk about is an automated pill dispenser. This will actually hold about a month of your pills. It has a clock with an alarm, so it'll, it'll alert you when you need to take your pills. And you can get this. This actually was a clip from Walmart's online site, so you can buy this right at Walmart. You can find it elsewhere too, but they do sell it across the street. There are a lot of variations on this as well, and some even have a Bluetooth link that'll link to an app on your phone. So pill taking has gone high tech now. Here's another unique gift item. Some of you might like sodas or seltzer waters. There are a lot of sparkling water seltzer machines out there that'll make that, but there's one that they came out with called the Ninja Thirsty, which actually will inject flavors into the sparkling water, the seltzer water. So now you can kind of make your own flavored sodas. This again you can get at Walmart. Right now they have it on sale for $40 off, and there are some other ones that are similar to this as well. And
Got a question.
sure,
Can you put liquor in it?
they don't care what you put in it. It's your soda. Okay, here's something for the gaming or electronics enthusiast that you might be looking for a gift for. This is actually a framed museum piece, which has all the circuitry and parts on display. So this one is a Nintendo GameCube. So, some of you might remember this. This goes, way back when the Nintendo GameCubes and other game controllers are out there. They have a bunch of different ones. This is just a sample. They have various types of game controllers. And as you can see, it has the controller itself, and then it shows all the circuitry on there. It's all framed. And it's kind of fascinating to look at. And this particular one, actually, they've reduced it. It's selling for $149 right now. And
Is that for residents or grandchildren?
that's for yourself, for grandchildren, for your grandchildren may not remember some of these older technology items, but for those that do remember it, you may want to use this as a gift. And this next one actually is here's one of an iPhone 4. So if you have an iPhone 4, this goes back to 2010. I think the Nintendo GameCube was like 2001. So these go back a few years. But for iPhone aficionados, this is a nice little display thing. They also have Android phones as well, so it's not just the iPhones. They have all kinds of different technology that you can buy with the circuitry and everything, and have your own little technology museum. Oh, and if you're looking where to find this, the website for this is at the bottom. It's grid, G-R-I-D, studio.cc is where you can find these items. Gridstudio.cc. Here's another unique item. How about a virtual reality headset? Certainly the younger generation is into all these types of things. Virtual reality. There are a lot of them out there on the market. One of the best ones out there that's at a decent price is this MetaQuest 2 model, which is selling right now for $299. This is from Best Buy, but you can get it at all kinds of different stores. And this, for people that are interested in doing virtual reality, for your grandkids perhaps, I mean, this will give them hours of entertainment. Another thing that's been becoming more popular these days are wireless mini printers. And these are printers, they're about the size of a phone. So they're really small, you can take them with you, take them on vacation. You may remember the old Polaroid cameras where you got instant prints. Well, if you got one of these little mini printers with you, it's kind of like having a Polaroid camera because you can print your picture right there and give it to somebody. This is one of them. This is the Canon IV2. There are a bunch of different models made by Kodak has one called the Kodak Step. HP has one called the HP Sprocket. And Canon has this one. They will operate with Bluetooth from your phone. They're rechargeable. It takes about I don't know, maybe, I think it should be less than an hour to get it charged so that you can print out maybe up to 50 prints from one charge. They're very lightweight. This thing weighs like a half a pound. Most of them are all under a pound. And it works with an app on your phone, and you have a Bluetooth connection from the app on your phone to this device, which is about the same size as your phone. And after you take the picture, you can actually even edit it using that app on your phone if you want to edit it. And then there's a print button, and you can print it right then and there. It uses, these are small printers, so the prints are going to be smaller. They're 2x3, so it's kind of like a smaller print. They're 2x3. The cost of the printing is probably about 50 cents. Is usually an average cost for printing one of these, for doing a print. The ink, it uses a new technology called zinc. It's what they call a zero ink technology. So the ink itself is embedded in actually in the paper. So actually harkens back to the old Polaroid cameras and uses a similar technology, but it's evolved into a newer tech, but using the same methods that they used back then. And actually, I think Polaroid even has one of their own now that they've come out with, or at least they're calling it Polaroid. But this is actually a pretty decent one, this Canon ID2. And it's selling, this one is for $88 on Amazon, and you can find this elsewhere as well. Here's another unique item for photo enthusiasts, and there are a lot of things that you can buy for people that are interested in photography. So there are all kinds of different accessories, everything from lenses to tripods. There are, if people that are using smartphones to do your photography, they have these clip-on lenses that you can have either a telephoto, a zoom lens, or a macro lens for doing close-ups. Well, this thing here is actually a microscope clip-on lens for a smartphone that will give you a 200x magnification. And you can use this on an iPhone or an Android phone. It has what's called a CPL lens, which is a kind of like a polarizing filter. It has a light on it, an LED light, to light up what you're taking a photo of. Over in the left-hand corner, you can see some samples of what this little thing can do. The first one is a picture of a leaf, and then there's some fruit, and then there's the second row is bread and some fibers on a microfiber cloth. The next row is, you can see that checkerboard. It's just a checkerboard pattern on, I don't know whether it's a book or a tablecloth or something. Then there's an ant, and then at the bottom row, that's a milk powder and some strands of hair. So you can magnify these, you can have a lot of fun with this, and this is probably a nice little gift. And this one is on Amazon for I think it's $36.99. And there are some other similar ones out there as well, but this is kind of a unique item. Another idea you might want to try is making your own holiday cards. You can do this online, and you can use either the sites from either Walgreens or CVS or Snapfish or Shutterfly, and then after you make your card online, you can then that same day go up and pick it up at your local Walgreens or CVS store. Or if you're ordering it from Shutterfly, they'll mail it to you. You're using your own photo to make your cards, and there's all sorts of different variations that you can do. And you can also make gift items, so you can take the same photo and you can make some unique gifts. You can make calendars, mugs, photo bags, t-shirts, they even have blankets. So whatever you can think of that you can put a picture on, they'll do it. So that might make some unique gift items for you. And for those of you who have dabbled in making your own greeting cards with greeting card software, I know we had a class one time on the Hallmark greeting card program, and you can also make your own photo cards that way as well. And flash drives, those are nice little stocking stuffers. Flash drives or thumb drives, you can do all kinds of things with these. You can load photos on them. and then use that as a gift item to give photos to family members. You can, if you've got a collection of old CDs, maybe you can take some old CDs and put the music on a flash drive, and then you've got something you can take off and listen to on vacation or in your car or something. So all kinds of ideas that way. So, and of course, there's all other things that, you know, as they say, if you want to come to the lab, we can talk to you about different things in terms of computers and laptops and printers and peripherals that go along with that type of technology. Okay, next Frank is going to talk about a streaming device that's very cheap and that you can purchase right across the street at Walmart. So I'll let him talk about the ONN 4K streaming box.
How many people here have used a streaming device like a Roku box or any of the Chrome boxes? Okay, quite not as many as I thought, but this is a good device to start with because it's the current one. It gives 4K resolution to older pictures. A little, you know, there's a thing in the TV that makes the picture better look, sharper looking. So it does a very good job. It's one of the devices that is rated excellent on almost every review you read. And the real interesting thing is it's available at Walmart for $19.88.
Why so expensive?
It's really it's almost the same thing as Google had a Chrome device that would do the same thing, and it was $50. It still is $50. So it's a good device that you could try with. So I got one here on hook up, and we'll go to the next slide, and you'll see a little bit what it looks like. Wrong button. This is the button for slides. It comes with remote rolling up, and we'll go to the live demonstration, which you can see. I got it plugged in on a. We'll see how live demonstrations are always really interesting to see how well they go. Yeah, live demonstrations go well.
You want to point that to the computer?
We'll go over here. What's that? What's before?
You want to be pointing it to the computer?
It's because we had this other thing set up. Oh, it's plugged in. I did this before a meeting and it worked fine, but that's why I say on live demonstrations it usually does these things too.
While he's getting that set up, the ONN Google TV, it's actually a clone of the Google Chromecast.
Yes, Chromecast.
So it gives you Google TV, and it's less than half the cost of the 4K version of the Google Chromecast.
So if you guys are interested in trying the price is right. So you go over to Walmart, buy it, it's in aisle K4, K3 on the bottom shelf, real low. And it gives you an excellent picture. Now this picture will work with any TV that has HDMI type jack. It could be an old TV that doesn't have isn't a smart TV, or it could be a smart TV that you just want a better interface for. This gives you a lot of choice. So that's it. I'll have it working up here until we break up for our after he gives us the talk on the space program.
Yeah, so we're doing the breakout session, that's for demo 10. Yeah, these are for less than $20. I mean, it's something you can give as a gift, you can use it yourself. They're great to take on vacation. So if you're off at a hotel or resort or somewhere, you just plug that into the TV and the same streaming services that you use at home, you now have on the go.
It's better to use that way.
Yeah.
Take this one from you, you can talk about that. Okay. Well, I'm missing the cat.
Okay, next up is Ken Cozy, who's going to talk about a retriever from space.
Well, thanks for inviting me here, and Mary and I have been here for 18 years, and we enjoy living here and meeting every one of you and coming to these meetings. And just a real honor and pleasure to give a little talk about some things that are going on. We're written right here in Sun City, thanks to your help, and many people in the computer lab have helped me put things up in space. I didn't put the spacecraft up, NASA did that part, but I added little things on there. And so I'm just really happy to talk about it. Also, a number of people have already taken advantage of going to the table there where we have a display, and the display shows some actual meteorites, not from OSIRIS-REx, the one we're talking about. I'd be in jail if they did. Those things are pretty precious right now, limited distribution. But I do have some very interesting, two very interesting meteorites there. One is carbon and the other one is has curious triangles in it. Very interesting. And also there's a book on OSIRIS-REx that's in 3D. You have little glasses there, you can put it up and you can actually see the asteroid in 3 dimensions. And there are a number of other pictures and things there that you might enjoy. So please feel free to do that. 7 years ago, I was right here at this podium. I'm sure you don't remember. But I remember it because I really sweated it. It was my first presentation here. Right? And it worked out pretty good. Well, 7 years later, that spacecraft came back toward Earth. And what it did is it didn't land. What it did do is it came over the Earth at the precise moment in time and let go of a capsule. And in this capsule are the rocks and regolith from the asteroid that was millions of miles away. The spacecraft itself traveled 4 billion miles. I figured out the cost and it came to about a quarter a mile, 25 cents a mile. And our taxes paid for it. And you can be really proud of it because it's real earth-shattering results from this that you'll hear more about. And of course, being in the Air Force before, as a vet, I got to tell you that this all happens at the Cape Canaveral Air Force Base, which is now in the hands of the Space Launch Delta unit from the U.S. Space Force. So we're getting our new information from there. Do I have the? Thank you. Thank you.
I clicked it.
Got it. Yep. And we are there, as you can see. And let's just. Oh, thank you. And thanks. just 7 weeks ago, that OSIRIS-REx came down, as you can see in the stamps, with the capsule to the Utah desert. So we're pretty much cutting edge right now. I have in my hands here what's up on the screen, and that is from the U.S. Post Office. Talking about Christmas gifts, if you want. You can buy one of these at our local post office. They carry them. I made sure of that. And what it is it's 20 stamps at the regular first class price of stamps. You can use it for your holiday letters. And it shows the time capsule coming down to Earth. And on the side is the information about OSIRIS-REx and how it did, and in the back is an explanation. Now, to some of us it is, oh, that's interesting. What about your grandkids? You know, the ones who are interested in space and science. I want to be an astronaut. That kind of folks who are out there would really appreciate a gift like that, and it's pretty inexpensive and very useful. You can bet that they're going to eventually use it for their letters, and may even write a thank you note to you. So it's really important. Okay, there's the spacecraft in the bottom left that went up to this asteroid, which is several million miles away when it did this landing in order to get some samples from it. Now, what is the purpose of that? Well, it wanted to get some contents, but also to check on the orbit of that asteroid. That asteroid was scheduled to hit Earth in 5 years. So we wanted to know more about it before it came around too close. And that's what our satellite did, is it went around, took pictures of it, checked what is called the Yarovsky effect, where the sun beats on the asteroid and changes its orbit. And it's happening to all the asteroids, so we want to be careful about that, and we're going to continue onto it too. Took some measurements, and there's a picture book at the table there that's in 3 dimensions, and you can actually see the asteroid. There's glasses just put on, and you can see the asteroid in 3 dimensions. So we know what it's made of. It traveled when it let go of the capsule. It traveled at 27,000 miles an hour. And within an hour, it was down to 10 miles an hour coming down in the parachute. So that was quite a technical achievement there. And it landed in the U.S. Air Force and Army Proving Grounds in Utah. It got up to 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit in its travel down. If you follow TV with the astronauts, the same thing happens there. The capsule comes down in a ball of flame, and you wonder, how can they survive? Well, it's ingenuity, and the things that are going on in NASA have improved our economy and contributed to it so much. This insulation that they have on the capsules and on the spacecraft for the astronauts is just incredible, and we're using it daily in our works here on Earth for lightweight things that are going on. There's so much more, and it's all out on that website. You can see the flaming coming down, and on the right is the capsule. You notice it's a different color than the one on the stamp, because the one on the stamp is what it was before, and afterwards it went through 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit, so it looks a little burnt, kind of like burnt toast. So you see what happens there. Well, there it is. There's the asteroid. They call it Bennu on the left. It's about the size of the Empire State Building in New York. That's how big it is. So you don't want that landing in your backyard. And the one on the right is the new one that they're going after called Apophis. And that one is the size of the Eiffel Tower. And it's made a little more denser with metals in it. So we're kind of careful about it. And actually what happened is when our spacecraft came off to let the capsule down, it went on out to find where Apophis is. We know where it's at. And it's starting to circle and analyze that. Because, believe it or not, in 2029, good Lord willing, we'll be here, it's going to come within 20,000 miles of the Earth's atmosphere. That's close. That's a close shave. And they want to be sure that nothing happened in between to change its orbit, because it's scheduled to go right past without a problem. that's one of the missions of this very important satellite that we have up there. What about the new samples that we got from the surface? Well, there they are. On the left is the special lab that was built in order to pump pure nitrogen in there so it doesn't have any effects from the atmosphere, our atmosphere, and open it up. On the right, before they even got to the main load, they found a whole bunch of rocks and regolith that they're analyzing now. They were just bonus. I mean, they made their mission just based upon the bonus stuff that was in there. And now they're going to open up the actual capsule itself. And here it is, what you're going to find, what they found so far. That's Dante Loretta, the principal investigator. He's a really nice guy, very, very thorough, and very talks in the English language to you and explains what's going on. And he summed it up. He said, well, the scientists gathered around and looked at the first samples that we got, and they said, wow, you know, and that pretty much sums it up. You know, if they're saying wow to it, you know it's really good. And they even did electronic microscopy on it too. And if you'll notice over there on the right-hand side, you see those little crystals in there? And there's iron oxides here and that, which means that there's oxygen, iron, carbon, and hydrogen, and water. And guess what? Those are the progenitors of life as we understand it. So it's really good that we're getting this information. The theory is that, remember the Earth when it started out, it was all lava and volcanoes and everything. It had no atmosphere, just a lot of smoke hanging around, but not really any atmosphere. While all these asteroids, for some reason, by some push, let's say, all these asteroids landed on Earth and gave us our water. Our oceans are filled with water from asteroids, which is just, it's mind-boggling. I still can't hardly believe it. But this proves that they do have water in those asteroids and the ingredients for life as we know it. Those were done with electron microscopes too, by the way. Our personal connection from here in Sun City is that they submitted some things which were included in the spacecraft's memory. Well, lo and behold, they invited everybody to submit creative works they put it in memory on the side, inside the spacecraft, and it's still up there, because that didn't come down, it kept on going. And what I did is I put in there some Explorer photos, prepared for a successful mission, which happened, good. 7-dimensional communications article, which you might have read about in Sunday News, and a multi-language ebook regarding the stars that are in the Bible's nativity story. So there it is out there in big, deep space. And the OSIRIS-REx team said congratulations and thank you. I'm just one of 7,000, but I'm just really happy to be one of 7,000, to be perfectly honest with you. Next is, the next chapter of OSIRIS-REx is that they said, hey, it's got some fuel left over. And they were all surprised. Everything in that mission, according to the mission director, was right on line. They call it nominal. Perfect. We have a lot of fuel left over that we never anticipated. And so it came back and it shot off this capsule that we're looking at now, the ingredients of the asteroid that it picked up. And then they said, what are we going to do? Well, they're very smart. And they said, you know, we have this Apophis asteroid that in 2029 is supposed to come very, very close to Earth. We want to be sure that it's only close. We want something to analyze it, to see what it is, and make sure it's right on orbit. Because there are different effects out there in space that can change orbits. So it's a very important mission, and it's kept on going now. And it's going out there to save our back. That's all I'll say, is that's its mission right now. So we're saying, again, Godspeed to it. There it is. There's an artist's conception as to what it's going to look like when it gets to Apophis. Now, it doesn't have the arm to take a sample. But what it does have is it has these engines that fire away and will blow up a lot of dust and dirt. And they have spectrometers and a lot of instruments on this. I mean, it's really an international effort we had that went into designing the instruments for this spacecraft. And as a result, it's going to look at all the contents of this asteroid to, as much as it can stir up, and tell us what's in there, so we'll know what it's going to do in the future. Because while it's a close call now, they're saying that this guy is coming really close again in another 7 years. So we're in pretty good shape looking at it. Incidentally, some people have asked me, what does OSIRIS-REx stand for? It's a really an unusual name, isn't it? Well, actually, there's a myth that is based upon, and it's an old Egyptian myth, but the scientific source of this is it stands for Osiris. O is for origins. That is, we want to know where it came from, what it's doing. S is for spectral interpretation, and that is, we have spectrometers there to determine what's in there. We want to compare it to what we looked at Earth. The reason for that is we're doing the same thing with these other asteroids that are starting to come a little bit closer for comfort. Resource identification. Are there any resources on there that we need? Water. That's good. And then, Charlie, water is always good, not only for us to drink, but for making fuel for our rocket to keep our rockets to keep going and keep her in space. What do you do when you get up to Mars and you ran out of fuel? Well, you better be making some. And they found there's water on Mars. All we got to do is dig for it. Security, namely make sure that these asteroids and other things don't come too close. And regolith, meaning that this is the dirt and the rocks on the surface of a body out in space to get that regolith and to bring it back, and it's an explorer. So that's what it means. Bennu is what the asteroid was called, and it's got a real scientific number, but doesn't make any difference. They had a little contest. You know, they're always trying to bring people into NASA and make it more of a family affair. And this kid came up with the word Bennu, because Bennu fits with the myth that Osiris, which was in Egypt, there was a king named Osiris, and Bennu is a bird that was with that king. So that's what they called it. So there's the explanation of the names that seem pretty strange. Well, Godspeed is the term that we always use when a spacecraft takes off, and we wish it well again. Now, what we have is on the table there is also some information about if you want to know more, or if your grandkids want to know more. Now, this presentation is for you, and I hope it's been entertaining, but it's also for your grandchildren. It's also for youngsters getting up through the science and math and what is space, and an astronaut would be cool, things like that, because they're the ones who are going to be our descendants out in space. They really are. It's shuddering to think about that, isn't it? Wow, you mean that little, yeah. Men and women have been joining NASA and getting a lot of things done. It's really an open employment group of very intelligent people. And people from all over the world are trying to join NASA or their equivalent in Europe. This presentation is for them too. So if you pick up some information there about where to go for more information on these satellites, take this and give it to your little ones or your bigger little ones. As time goes on, they grow so fast, don't they? And also think about those stamps. Those stamps, I'm not selling stamps, but the idea is that the stamps are useful, number one, and number two, it really tells a story that a lot of kids have read that and said, oh my gosh, I've got to find out more about this. So it'll be contributing to the information for future use. There's also information here about other missions that are going on. And for those of you in AI, where's the AI table? In the AI, there's also a contact there, what to put into ChatGPT or BART or any of the others in order to find out more information about NASA and about these spacecraft. So it's pretty exciting stuff. On the table there, I mentioned are some meteorites. One is particularly interesting with those triangles. You want to take a closer look at that and to see an asteroid that's billions of miles away in 3D. 3D. Brian May is the guy who came up with that. Besides being a good guitar player, he's also an astrophysicist. So I hope you enjoy it, and it's been a pleasure talking to you all. Shelley, did you have
Yeah, thank you, Ken.
Yeah, it is, that's what
Okay, thank you, Ken. It was a wonderful presentation.
Quick question,
Yeah, quick question. Ken, that was just an amazing presentation.
Thank you.
Good. And am I saying it right? Osiris?
Osiris.
Osiris.
Osiris, yes,
Osiris.
yes.
It actually landed on the meteor?
Yes, it did. It went out, it's an asteroid, then it becomes a meteor after it starts coming toward the Earth. But what it is it came down and it was supposed to go for 5 seconds, come down like this. It had a arm extended. It was supposed to grasp some of the regolith, the ground and the rocks. Well, guess what? It kept on going. And they said, oh my God, this asteroid could actually eat this spacecraft. And sure, it could have, but they programmed it so that it wouldn't do that. It said, if you don't feel resistance, get the heck out of there. And it just, like all engines in reverse, and it got out of there as fast as they could. And that's why we have all these extra rocks too, by the way, which is a blessing in disguise. But yeah, it actually landed for 5 seconds, actually 9 seconds is the way they termed it, and got out of there with all that information on it, inside of it.
One other thing. You mentioned about, the gas, the fuel.
Yes,
What is that?
it's methane. It's methane gas.
Wait a second. It's methane?
It's methane and it's got oxygen, and then the two combine together, and it's just really a good power.
That meteor is going 27,000 miles an hour?
Right, right.
And this has the fuel to catch up to it and
It did.
and then get away? From
That's a
methane?
good question. I'm glad you asked that because I can give you a concise answer. We would never be able to get up to space if it weren't for gravity. And you say, wait a minute, gravity is what holds us down and holds the spacecraft down. Yeah, but once you get out of the into an orbit, gravity aids you because you go around the Earth, which it did 1 year from its launch. It came around the Earth, and we all waved at it, by the way. It's a picture of that. And it came around the Earth, and it picks up speed when it goes. So it left the Earth at 7,000 miles an hour. That's the rate you have to go to get out of the Earth gravity. And it did that. And then it built up this speed. Well, what happened is it's got to go around the sun a couple times and change its angle because the asteroid doesn't go in the same plane as the Earth does. It's just a little bit off. So I had to go up there and then slow down. Well, how do you slow down? Gravity. Use gravity again. Isn't this amazing, the calculations they had to go through to do it? But that's how they do it. And so it didn't use any fuel. Once the rocket itself used all the fuel to get it up and going. And once it got going, it just did a little course correction every now and then, which it was planned to do. A little course correction every now and then. It's like having a hybrid car, and every once in a while you hear the motor come on. Oh, and a little correction will have. So that's what happened. So it was gravity that did it. And the big thing was to slow it down enough when it came to Earth. Well, that's where that fireball came into play. Gravity again. Gravity and the pressure of the atmosphere slowed it down. And then a couple of parachutes helped it come down slowly to maybe 11 miles an hour. Wow, isn't that something, from 26,000 miles an hour to 11? Right braking system, but it did cost them fuel to do it. See, and that's why it has fuel left over to do it. It is amazing. It's amazing, but that's the laws of physics. And that's what those little grandchildren, they know about that stuff. I'm just really surprised. They always surprise me when they say something. Do you have another question?
Okay, if there are more questions, there's a microphone in the center. If you could just step up
Push
to
the
that
button.
microphone. And if anyone else who has questions, you can just line up behind her.
You're on.
It's on. 2 questions. How do asteroids get their names? And the
Good.
second question, could you tell us about your background? How do you know all this?
Well, thank you. Well, first of all, asteroids get their name. There's actually a scientific convention as to how to name number asteroids. They all have numbers. They really don't have names. What happened here is they had a contest to be more family friendly. NASA had a contest for people to submit names for this asteroid, and that's how it got the name Bennu. Apophis, usually when somebody discovers a comet or discovers an asteroid or discovers a planet, they get to name it. Isn't that amazing? They get to name it. You can name it after yourself if you want. Well, Apophis was named by 3 people who discovered this asteroid that was out there. And they looked at this asteroid and said, this is the devil's meteor. I mean, it is just really huge. It's going bad. It's coming toward us. We're really scared about this. So that's why they named it after a Greek god by the name of Apophis, which means cruel. You know, very, very dangerous. Okay, now to answer your second question, how did I get into it? Well, I was working on a computer one night and I heard this Apollo 11 broadcast. And there he was. He was going to step on the moon. And I said, wow, man, it's interesting, you know? So after I retired, I said, you know, I want to write something. I got a lot of things to write about, so I wrote out some stuff. And NASA came up and they said, if you're writing creative stuff, send it to us and we'll put it on a spaceship. I asked Mary, my wife, and she's very encouraging. She said, yeah, go ahead, do it. I said, oh boy, I was nervous. You know, I don't do things like this normally. So I did, I got into that. In terms of computers, and then when I graduated from schools, I graduated with math and computers and got into computer. Remember the punch cards? Many of you remember the days of the punch cards, right? Well, that was me, punching cards and throwing them into the computer and computer programming and stuff like that. That's how long ago it was in the 60s. And then I retired 46 years after. Started being a writer, and then I got into this. I said, this is really interesting stuff. And I couldn't believe that they would put, and I wrote an article about it thanks to Mr. Sterling's session that time, about how you can write and actually put your material on there. You can put your names on there. You can put your name on a lot of spacecrafts that are going off to Mars and other moons. You can do that. You just got to look it up, how to do it. And you can do that in Google, very simple. So my name's on Mars right now. You know, there'll be several generations gone by before they find my name along with a million other names that are out there. A lot of people respond to it. But that's how I got interested in it, and that's how things go. Is that okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Ken. What we're going to do now is turn this room into kind of a computer cafe. And so for those who are interested, Ken's going to demo some of the items he's got on his table there over in the front corner. He's got a 3D printed model of the spacecraft and all kinds of stuff out there. So if you're interested in that, go over to that table. On this side, yeah, we're going to try to do a demo of the ONN. So each of the ONN, Frank's going to do a demo over here in this corner. We've got a table that's labeled AI if you want to discuss AI. And we have another one on social media. And if you just want to just look around or just talk over a cup of coffee, and you can always get another cup of coffee. This will be a computer cafe, so let's get an extra cup of coffee and go to the oven.
Shelley, today's Ken's birthday. Let's sing to him. Today's Ken's birthday.
No, I'm not gonna sing.
Today's Ken's birthday.